headed out. Interstate 5. Money was all spent, but I felt so alive. I was chasing down a dream, like it always taught me to. Evergreens and caffeine still remind me of you. Coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wider arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, 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 oh. Sports in town, be like fire on the Cascades when our feet touch the ground. Ooh, I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wider arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, 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 I left my heart in Oregon. 'Cause in my mind there's a memory. It tastes so good, it's bittersweet. Cheap champagne and the victory. Ooh. I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wider arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, 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 I left my heart in Oregon. I left my heart in Oregon. I left my heart in Oregon.
Thank you, Matt. How are you?
Great, yeah. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Thank you so much for that. For everyone, Matt is a native Eugenian, as the president mentioned. He's a graduate of South Eugene High School and a lifelong Ducks fan. As a teen, Matt developed his love for playing guitar and songwriting. And on his breaks from college, he managed to sneak into the University of Oregon School of Music and Dance to play the piano and write music. Matt has released 6 studio albums, and his songs have been featured on shows like One Tree Hill, Grey's Anatomy, and Friday Night Lights. The song you just heard is Matt's Ode to Oregon, and our home's gravitational pull is really felt in this song. He wrote this song as he finished his studio album Just Kids, and on a trip to Eugene, he filmed scenes for a video with the University of Oregon's athletic department. The song and its video are played to more than 60,000 fans every Saturday in the fall during our home games, and we all sing along. It's absolutely one of our favorites. Matt, thank you so much for joining us here today.
My pleasure. Have a great time in Eugene. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much. Go Ducks!
Go Ducks!
Hello, and welcome to the University of Oregon's virtual visit. My name is Cora Bennett. I'm the Director of Student Orientation Programs here at the University of Oregon, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you here today. Thank you for joining us in this new format. We hope that you enjoy today's program. The first part of this program is focused in on our admitted students and answering their questions. We have a parent and family segment at the end, and we invite parents and family and other supporters of our admits to join us for that at the end. We hope that we're able to answer most, if not all, of your questions here today and help you see the University of Oregon. We hope that if you have questions throughout the program that you'll use that live Q&A feature. We have experts in the program throughout the program, and so we're here to answer those questions, and a few of them might be featured as we talk to some of the presenters and guests here today. It's important to note that respect is a critical value of the University of Oregon, and we practice it here every day. Please be sure that your questions and comments in the Q&A stay respectful. Make sure you stick with us at the end of our student broadcast for a few special guests and to claim a special gift just for you. We have a wonderful group of folks here today to welcome you to the University of Oregon, to provide more insight into the U of O. And our first guest is here to offer the official welcome to you all. Roger Thompson is the Vice President of Student Services and Enrollment Management. And after having been in similar positions at other universities like Indiana University, the University of Alabama, Roger returned to his native Oregon and has served in his current role here at the University of Oregon since 2010. In his work, he oversees many of the departments that you're engaging with in your college search, like admissions, financial aid, and university housing, among several more. Please welcome Dr. Roger Thompson.
Thank you, Cora. First, let me begin by saying to all of the students, congratulations on being admitted to the University of Oregon. This was our most competitive admissions process we've ever had. In the history of the University of Oregon, we've never had more applications than we had this year. And we go back to 1876. So congratulations on being admitted to one of the country's premier institutions of higher education. Second, I really would have loved to have offered that to you in person. We were hoping to see you this spring. We really wanted you to be at the University of Oregon, but you know, these are unusual times, and this is the way we need to communicate now. So know that we're very proud of you. We're excited about you coming to the University of Oregon, and I want to congratulate you on being admitted. You know, these are such unusual times. It seems like our world's been turned upside down. And over the last month, I think I've had lots of time to reflect as I've worked remotely from my home office and think about the University of Oregon, and particularly think about the students in the class of 2020. To all of you students out there, I'm sorry how your senior year has turned out. You're missing a lot of big events that I'm sure you spent your high school career looking forward to and ready to participate in. And this day, we're trying to recognize some of your achievements because we know the senior year got messed up. And I want you to know that we've recognized the things that you've done in high school. We've seen the achievements. We've seen the accomplishments. We've seen how terrific you are as a high school student. And so as we get ready to start college, please know that all of us at the University of Oregon are thinking about how can we make this transition for you from what turned out to be not quite the senior year you expected into a freshman year that's far more than what you expected. So know that that's what we're thinking about all the time. And you know, I've also thought over the last month how interconnected we are. You know, all of us are in this together. And when I think about how the world becomes such a small place and how we begin to work together to try to get through these difficult times, it sort of reflects the University of Oregon spirit. Because as an institution, we're interconnected, just like we're going through this pandemic. And so know that when you come to the University of Oregon, there's a whole group of people here ready to help you dream and aspire and imagine a future that sometimes maybe you can't even define today. We have so many professionals and faculty, staff, administrators across the campus that are ready to welcome you and create a great start to your college experience. So know that while we're going through these difficult times, that's what we're all thinking about. Before I wrap up, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank all of the folks that are making a difference in our communities all across the country. I think about the first responders, the people that are working in hospitals and medical facilities. I think about our own team right here in the University Health Center, who's so committed to serving our students on campus here in Eugene and working to make sure that all of our students are healthy and safe. So thank you to the folks in the University Health Center. Thank you to everyone across the country, the first responders, but also the folks that are working to stock the grocery stores and ensuring that as many things in our world that can remain the same do. You folks are the heroes. You're the ones making a difference and helping us get through this difficult time. So thank you to all of the folks working in that regard. And finally, again, congratulations to all of you students. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're coming to the University of Oregon from across town or across the country. We're incredibly proud of you, and we can't wait to meet you. That part got delayed in these unusual times, but we look forward to welcoming you to the University of Oregon, getting to know you and your families, and building that partnership that will ensure that your college career is a successful one. And on behalf of all of us, welcome to the University of Oregon. Take care, be well, take care of yourself and those that mean the most to you, and we do look forward to seeing you on campus very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. I'm now pleased to introduce Annie, one of our student ambassadors. She's going to give you a short campus tour. Then you'll meet some more students who will answer your questions about the student experience.
Hi everyone, my name's Annie. I'm going to be your ambassador today. I'm from San Luis Obispo, California. I'm a junior majoring in international studies with 2 minors, one in food studies and another in leadership administrative skills. A little bit about me, I'm involved on the Alpine ski team here on campus as well as the outdoor program. I know it's a stressful time right now and some of you might be concerned, but I'm excited to show you the campus today. Right over here we have Mat Kearney Arena, home to our men's and women's basketball team, as well as our women's acrobatic and tumbling and volleyball team. We do have more than just sports in here. We have performers such as Elton John, the Dalai Lama, right here in Mat Kearney. Right behind me here, we have the John E. Jaqua Academic Center for Student Athletes. It is required that all NCAA Division I schools have a building for their student athletes' academic success. And here, student athletes can get help with tutoring, academic advising. Do note that all the resources they get in here, other students like myself get on other parts of campus. Right over here, we have the University Health Counseling and Testing Center, and here we have a full-service health clinic here for all enrolled students with services such as physical therapy, dentists. We also want to make sure our students are not only healthy physically, but also mentally. Upstairs, we have a counseling center with group therapy, one-on-one sessions, therapists and counselors on call at all times, as well as an academic testing center where students can take placement tests and mock exams. Right over here, we have the Robert and Beverly Lewis Integrative Science Building. Here, you can conduct your own research for undergrads as well as graduate students. If you don't want to conduct your own research, you can always be a part of someone else's research study. Located 17 feet below us are the Lori I. Lokey laboratories. These are located underneath bedrock to minimize all the vibrations from above ground. There's microscopes in there that can see something as tiny as a single gold atom. We are in Willamette Hall, home to our physics department, our general science program, our material science institute, and our Institute for Theoretical Sciences. Tucked right there in the corner is Willamette Hall, home to our biology, chemistry, biochemistry departments. Something cool to note is there's a lot more of campus you won't be able to see today. We have a campus on the Oregon coast for marine biology students, as well as a submarine that we share with the Coast Guard. Tucked underneath Willamette Hall are human cadaver labs. This is great for our human physiology students or science students to do hands-on research. Personally, you couldn't catch me dead down there. Here we are in the Price Science Library. This is one of 5 libraries located on campus. Yes, it's the science library, but this facility is open to all students here on campus, including the maker space in here, where we have a laser cutter, 3D printer, and industrial sewing machine. Right behind me here is Allen Hall, home to our School of Journalism and Communication. They have incredible clubs and organizations in here, such as Duck TV, Flux Magazine, Allen Advertisement Team that works with businesses such as Adobe. Right over here we have Lawrence, which is home to the College of Design. We offer programs such as architecture, product design, planning, public policy and management, and art. Within our architecture program, we really like to focus on sustainability. Here on campus, numerous buildings are LEED, Gold, if not Platinum certified. Right over here is Friendly Hall, home to some of our foreign language departments. We offer 22 different foreign languages here on campus. As you can see, there's lots of beautiful trees around me. Fun fact, our campus is an arboretum. We have over 5,000 trees with over 400 different species. Right over here is Tyson Hall, home to the College of Arts and Sciences. We offer academic and career advising in this building to help students find classes to make sure they're graduating on time and on track to find that job post-grad. They'll help you out with looking over resumes, helping with mock interviews, career fairs, and career advising. Right over here we have the Lillis Business Complex, home to the Charles H. Lindquist College of Business. Within this department we offer 2 majors, including accounting and business administration. Within the business department we have incredible clubs such as Women in Business, Oregon Consulting Group, Warsaw Sports Marketing, Sustainable Business Club. We also have incredible academic advisors within the business department and a tutoring center right on the first floor. This is also the most photogenic building on campus. As you can see, that O was put up there in 2012 when we hosted ESPN College Game Day. They liked it so much they kept it up there. Some people say it's the largest bumper sticker in the world. I think it makes a great photo opportunity. Right over here is Chapman, home to the Clark Honors College. This is available for all majors, all minors. This gives students the opportunity to take smaller classes, to write and conduct a thesis your senior year. The Honors College gives students that small liberal arts college feel in a large research university. Here we are in the Urban Memorial Union. This is our student union. We all call it the EMU for short. And here, students can gather and study, grab food. Most of our student groups are based out of this building. We have over 250 clubs and organizations on campus. Like I said, I'm involved on the Alpine Ski Team through Club Sports and the outdoor program, as I'm a trip initiator, leading and conducting my own trips, just to name a few things. Right over here we have our craft center. This is free for students to come in, take classes. We have glass blowing, screen printing, ceramics, woodwork, painting, fabrics, photography, and the list goes on and on. Here we are in our Student Recreation Center. This is included in students' tuition and fees. You can come in here and rent out equipment, take classes. They have great hours from 6 a.m. to midnight. A few of the classes that they offer here at the Recreation Center are CrossFit, kickboxing, cycling, yoga, stand-up paddleboard yoga. You can even get scuba certified in our pool. Hello everyone, I know things are changing quickly. I'm currently back home in San Luis Obispo, California, and wanted to finish up the video. I first want to wish you all good luck with your college admission process. I want to thank you for coming on a campus tour with me. Take care and go Ducks.
Welcome back everyone, and thank you, Annie. My name is Gemma. I'm a sophomore from Albany, Oregon, and I'm an education major. I'm involved in the Black Student Union, Oregon Rugby, and I sing in UO's women's a cappella group, Divisi. I'm excited to introduce you to some of my friends, and we're going to answer your questions for a few minutes. We're going to go ahead and start with the questions you submitted when you registered, and if we have time, we'll take some live questions as well. But don't worry, we'll also get to all of your Q&As. So with us today are Patrick, Katrina, and Zach, all members of the class of 2020. Introduce yourself and share a little bit about you.
So, hi everyone again. My name is Patrick. I am a senior and I'm from Portland, and I'm double majoring in math and Spanish, and I also do a little bit of computer science, and I'm also in the Honors College. And one thing outside of academics that I really enjoy doing at U of O is intramural sports. And so I've been on at least one team for every single term since my freshman year up until this term, unfortunately.
All right. My name is Katrina. I'm also a senior and I'm also from Portland, Oregon. I am double majoring in family and human services and Spanish. And then a couple things I've been involved in during my time on campus include theater, a couple choirs, and then also fraternity and sorority life.
Hey everybody, my name is Zach. I'm originally from Everett, Washington. I'm studying journalism and political science, as well as minoring in legal studies. And across campus, I've been involved in mock trial, which is like speech and debate. I write for the Daily Emerald, which is our student newspaper here on campus. And I'm also a research assistant in the School of Journalism and Communication.
Perfect. Okay, thank you, everyone. So our first question, one of our audience members submitted this before the program. What should I consider when choosing a college, and why did you ultimately select the UO? Let's start with Patrick.
Sure. So I guess when looking for a college, there's a whole bunch of different factors that you should be looking into. First off, I think distance matters, and so coming from Portland, I wanted to go like far away enough where I had like my own sense of being myself and having a new experience, but close enough where I could still go back home fairly easily. Also, I think academics are important, and so I was interested in graphic design coming into U of O. And I wanted to go to a school that had a good design program, but also a wide breadth of other majors and programs to explore and choose from. And ultimately, I switched out, but I was very thankful that there was a really great graphic design program and math and Spanish that I do now. And I don't know, that's the top two, at least for me. And ultimately, those were what made me or drew me into the U of L for like the honors college and all those different reasons.
Awesome, thank you. Katrina, what was it like when you started your first year of college? Do you have any tips or advice for transitioning?
Yeah, for sure. Well, transitioning into college isn't necessarily always going to be the easiest thing, but I think that having a strong support system is super duper important. And for me, that came from my community in my residence hall and from my roommate, and then also other variety of other places on campus. As far as advice goes, a couple things I would recommend are leaving your door open in your residence hall so that anyone can come by and being open to friendships all the time. One of the things I did was on one of my first days living in the residence halls, I knocked on everyone's doors in my hallway and gave them a cookie because I wanted to meet them and say hi. And then another thing too is that you don't have to come in feeling like you know for sure what you want to study. I came in thinking I wanted to be a drama teacher and I was studying theater, and I decided to change my major, and that's totally okay to change your major. And so I think it's a great thing to explore and like take a variety of classes your first year if you're not set on one thing. Additionally, get involved as soon as possible. You can try out a ton of different things in your first year and then kind of narrow them down later once you get a feel for what you're truly passionate and excited about. So that's a little bit of advice I would give to first year students.
Thank you, that sounded like great advice. What activities should new students get involved in as a freshman to integrate themselves into the Duck community? Zach, what would you say?
Yeah, that's a super important question. And the answer is super easy. Basically, anything that you're interested in, you should get involved in. There are a couple of pretty easy ways to do that. The first week of classes, we have what's called Flock Party because we love duck jokes. But basically what that is, all of the clubs on campus set up tables on the EMU lawn, and you can sign up for basically any club that you want. That's how I found mock trial. That was never something I came into the U of O thinking that I would want to be a part of, but once I met the folks there at the Flock Party and learned a little bit about it, I was super interested, and it became a really great resource for me my whole time here at the U of O. Another really great resource is your residence hall your first year. When you're living on campus, you'll be surrounded by people who are in a very similar situation to you, who probably have super similar interests. So like Katrina said, making friends with the folks on your floor and going to the activities that your resident assistant puts on your floor, I totally recommend as well.
Awesome, thank you. What is your favorite thing to do in Eugene? Let's go to Katrina.
For sure. There's definitely a lot to do in Eugene. Some of my favorite things include going on hikes. So there's like a Mount Pisgah hike, Spencer's Butte. And then a couple other things that I really like are going to the Saturday market, or even using our like bike share program, which is called Peace Health Bikes. And you can just check out a bike for a short amount of time, and actually students get 15 minutes for free each day. So sometimes I'll do that and like ride over to Prince Puckler's for ice cream. Or you could even ride it to downtown at the Saturday market too. So there's definitely a lot of things to do. There's great restaurants around as well. There's a lot of things to try. I would recommend trying out everything as soon as you can and then figuring out what's best for you.
That sounds fun. Okay. Zach, I know everyone is curious. How's the weather in Eugene?
I was so curious too when I was coming to the U of O, because that's such an important question. Look, I'm from Everett, Washington. It's the Seattle area. If you're not familiar with the Pacific Northwest, if you know anything about the weather in Seattle, you know there are two seasons. There's cold and gray, and then there's the summer. In Eugene, however, we're super lucky to have 4 complete seasons. You can see right now, it's pretty sunny outside. We're in the thick of springtime. The flowers are blooming. It snows sometime in the winter, but not a terrible amount. I've only gotten a few kind of snow days during my time here at the U of O. So you get enough time to build a snowman, do all that, but not enough to like cancel school for months on end or anything like that. So it's a really great mix. You get 4 complete seasons. It only rains as much as it does in Philadelphia or in Miami. So it's not as much rain as people say it is.
Thank you. So how does the academic rigor compare from high school to college? Patrick, do you feel like professors have been able to support you even in larger classes?
Yeah. So I think in college, of course, there's a jump from high school. For me at least, it was more academically rigorous, but there were also more avenues to get support. And so being in the honors college, a lot of those classes are quite like reading and writing heavy, but those professors there and all professors on campus, they have office hours where their doors are just wide open, and you can, walk on in there and talk to them about the class, their research, or just really anything. Of course, outside of the professors themselves, there's free tutoring really anywhere you look on campus. There's some in our library, and I found a lot of support from my friends too in my residence halls. We'd work together in our little study room down the hall, and I could compare, different answers or whatever, like, edit each other's essays. So I do think it's a bit more rigorous, but there's a lot of ways to make sure that you're staying on track.
Awesome, thank you. Katrina, you mentioned that you were involved in a sorority. How many students are in fraternities or sororities at UO, and do you recommend joining?
For sure. So about 18% of our student population is involved in fraternity and sorority life. So it's not an overwhelming amount where it's you like have to do it or else you're not going to fit in. But at the same time, it's big enough that it feels like a really big and exciting thing when you're in it. So yes, I am in a sorority, and I've had an amazing experience. It's given me leadership opportunities as well as some really solid friendships. And also I got to live in my chapter facility as well for 2 years, and it was super duper fun. One of my highlights of my college experience. If you are interested in joining, we do have a formal recruitment process for Pan-Hellenic sororities. We also have multicultural sororities as well as academic ones, and those have a different recruitment process. But if you are interested in joining a Pan-Hellenic sorority, for example, you could sign up for fall formal recruitment during the summertime and then jump right into recruitment in the fall. It's usually the second or third week.
Perfect, thank you. Have any of y'all studied abroad? Awesome. Patrick, how was your experience?
Yeah, so I studied abroad for Spanish, and it was last summer, and so I'm still missing it, but it was a really great experience. And so I was there for 6 weeks. I studied abroad in Rosario, Argentina, and I took 3 classes that all went to my Spanish major. And I was in a program with all other U of O students, so I came back with even more friends too. But of course, you don't need to study abroad for a foreign language. There's so many different programs, and I think almost 100 countries too. And so because of that, for really almost any major, you can probably find a program that if you want to go on it, you could. And it's not that every student studies abroad. I think we're a very, we all studied abroad, but that's not quite the norm. About 1 in 4 students usually do. And so, of course, you don't have to, but it's a great experience if you want to and you're able.
Thank you. How do I decide which residence hall is best for me? Katrina, tell us how you made that choice.
For sure. Well, we do have 10 different residence halls, so there are a lot to choose from. However, for me, it came down to price as well as location. So I recommend looking into those things. 5 of our residence halls have dining halls attached. So about half of our residence halls have dining attached, and if you don't have it attached, it'll be just right next door. But you can look into that as too when you're considering the location. I lived in Hamilton Hall. It's one of our older residence halls, and I absolutely loved it. It was just in a standard double, super simple, but it was perfect for me. We do have other residence halls that have like a bathroom or a sink attached, and those are better for some people. But for me, I didn't need that luxury of that. I just wanted it plain and simple, and I had a great experience sharing my room with my roommate. It was awesome.
Sounds awesome. Thank you. Zach, this one's for you. Should I bring a car to campus?
Yeah, pretty much that's totally up to you, obviously, but you don't really need a car for getting around campus or getting to Eugene. In your first year, when you're living on campus, you're only going to be maybe 15 minutes away at most by walking from your furthest away class. Most of your classes are going to be a lot closer than that. So campus is super walkable. It's very flat. A lot of biking here in Eugene too. So campus is easy to bike through. It's easy to bike to downtown Eugene, and we have those bike share bikes that Katrina mentioned earlier, where students get 15 minutes a day for free on those, and those go all the way through Eugene. Another great transportation resource that we have is our Emerald Express bus system and the Lane Transit District buses. We have buses that go all through Lane County. You can get all the way down to downtown Eugene, all the way out to Target in Springfield. I don't know what more you could ever need. But all of those buses in Lane County are free when you're a student at the U of O. So you just flash your student ID and you can get on those buses and get all around town. So that's super convenient. There's shuttles up to Portland to get to the airport. So it's pretty easy to get in and out of Eugene and around town without a car, without having to try and find parking.
Awesome. Thank you. Patrick, how do you like the quarter system?
The quarter system. So I like it personally just because it lets me take more classes. Some other colleges and universities operate on the semester system, and that's what my high school did too. And so it's a small adjustment, but this way with a quarter system, I think I just get to take more classes, I get to learn more topics, and it's not all too rushed. It's a 10-week term with 1 week at the end for finals and in the exams, and it works out for me, I think. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all the time we have for this panel. Thank you, everyone. You'll get to learning about university housing and dining right after this short message from our feathered friend.
Plume de Canard, the new fragrance by Choisy l'Oregon.
Welcome back. We'll be joined by a university housing expert who will answer your questions about housing and dining. We'll cover the basics of registering for housing for this fall, answer your question submissions and Q&A questions if we have time. We'll also have other housing experts in the live Q&A answering questions, so keep those questions coming. Please welcome Alex Galbraith, Director of Promotions and Recruitment in University Housing. Hi, Alex.
Hello. Thanks for having me join today.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So I just want to cover just one quick base. You are a University of Oregon alumnus, is that correct?
This is correct. Yes, I graduated in 2010 with a degree in human physiology. Thought I was going to dental school, but here I am.
Higher ed
loving working
calling, huh?
Yes, always.
So Alex, I'm going to start with a few basics for our admitted students just to cover those base level things for everyone to know, and then we'll get to some of the questions that are coming in. So admitted students can register for university housing for next year at this point. How do they do that?
Yes, so they can go directly to our website at housing.uoregon.edu, and they'll create an account through what's called My Housing. And this is where they will register for housing, they will find a roommate, select their rooms, and go through that entire process. And so once a student is admitted, they can register for housing. It doesn't commit a student to coming to UVO in any way, shape, or form. So even if students are still making those final decisions, they can register for housing, and we definitely encourage them to do so.
Is it especially important for them to consider doing that now? Is there a good reason why the timing in April is important?
Yes, this is really important for a couple of different reasons. One, the sooner that students are registering for housing, the more options they're going to have when it comes to room selection time. So students actually get to go in and choose their own room in the summer, in June or July, just depending on what their registration looks like. And also in May is when roommate browsing and requesting opens up. And so we want to make sure that students are ready to go through that process so they can find their roommate and then select their rooms later in the summer.
Well, you mentioned June or July, depending on some of their selections. What exactly do you mean by that? Is there a difference between selecting in June versus July?
Yes, there is a difference. We have we have 13 different academic residential communities and 6 different residential communities. So a lot of opportunities for students to kind of find a space. Some students choose to live in one of our communities, some students don't. For those students who apply into a community and are accepted into it, they will actually do their room selection in June, and then all other students will be selecting their room in July.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the questions that have come in through the registration process from students. Have any dates or deadlines related to housing registration changed due to the pandemic closures?
At this time, we are still moving forward with the kind of dates and deadlines that we have. Students can actually change their registration, even including their room selection, up until July 31st. And so there is that flexibility in terms of being able to make adjustments to that registration form.
Okay. And with regard to the registration fee and the prepayment, is there a waiver or a deferral process for students if they have that need?
Yes, so the registration form itself does have a $50 non-refundable fee. In part of that process, we also ask for students to pay a $350 initial housing payment that goes towards their fall term room and meal charges. That $350 can be deferred for students who need it. And so if they're interested in seeing what that option looks like because they have that need, especially right now, they can email us at housing@uoregon.edu and we'll walk them through that process. We definitely don't want it to be a barrier for students to take those next steps in becoming a duck.
Is there any requirement to live on campus?
There is. We do have a first year live on requirement, lots of great reasons why and how it benefits students to do so. If students maybe live in the community or have different circumstances with which living on campus would not be the best fit for them, we do have a process for students to go through an exemption. And so, again, they can do that through working with us in that process.
We have a question from Hayden. How do I create my housing profile in order to find a roommate?
Yes, so there are kind of 2 phases to that. One is during the registration form, there's a section called lifestyle questions. And this is where it's really important that the student fills it out and fills it out truthfully and honestly, talking about how clean they like their space to be or what time they go to bed, what time they want to wake up in the morning. And so that is going to help match students with other students during that May roommate browsing and requesting portion. There is also an opportunity that will open up by May, so within the next couple of weeks, where students can add a little bit more information about themselves or ways that students can connect with them. So whether that's through text message or email or social media. And so that's another way that they can just make even more connections with students. Or if they know somebody already, that is another possibility.
It's a good way to get to know someone ahead of time to communicate. So that's an awesome opportunity for students to share that info and make sure that they're getting to know each other before they live together for 9 months, right?
Absolutely. And that's why I really emphasize that students are filling that part out truthfully and honestly. We really are empowering students to make a lot of choices in terms of where they're wanting to live and who they're wanting to live with so that they have a say in having a great positive first year experience in the residence halls.
So Brooke has asked us a question and she wants to know, what is the benefit of living in an ARC?
Yes, so those ARCs or academic residential communities, this is an opportunity for students to live together that have similar interests and passion, whether that's what you're majoring in or what you're just interested in general. One of the big components is that students live together. They also are taking classes together, doing projects together, different activities, and they have a really close connection to faculty as well. So for example, our environmental leaders ARC actually have a grow pod outside of their residence hall where they are working on how to grow like tomatoes and bell peppers without any sunlight. And so just really enhancing that experience for students living on campus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's speaking of food, tomatoes. Tell us a little bit. How do meal plans work?
Yes, so we have 5 different meal plans. 4 of those are point-based. So this means that students will get a certain number of points per week, just depending on what plan that they choose, that they can use to buy a variety of different items on campus. So they can go and pick up a bagel and a coffee for 2 points, or they can get some mac and cheese with chicken and a drink for 5 points. And so students can really just pick and choose what they want out of our 9 different dining venues at any time. Our Carson Unlimited plan is our most economical plan, and this allows students unlimited entry into our Carson all-you-can-care-to-eat buffet-style dining venue anytime that they're open. And so students are limited to eating in just in that specific venue, but they have a lot of options and can go in as many times as they want when they're open throughout the day, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All of our meal plans also include $50 of what is called Duck Bucks. So this is sort of like cash on a student's UVO ID card that they can use at other places on campus, such as getting a coffee at the library, or they're interested in eating some food in the student union building.
All right. Can they use their meal plans off campus?
Nope. Meal plans can only be used within our 9 dining venues, but there are lots of great food options for students, from comfort food to vegetarian, vegan options. I eat there every day for lunch, and so always excited about what is available and enjoying what I eat.
What about those students who maybe have food allergies or sensitivities to certain foods? Is there a way that they can connect with housing staff?
Absolutely. We are here to make sure that students are getting the food that they need and is going to work for them. So any student who has any sort of dietary needs or restrictions or allergies can work with our dining staff, and we'll make sure that they have the food that they need in the dining venues.
All right, one more food-related question. You can tell it's
Okay.
almost dinner time here in Eugene. Are there places where I can cook my own food?
Absolutely. We have community kitchens throughout our residence halls, and so this is a really great opportunity to take a break from the dining venues if you want, grab some friends, and make some food. I always enjoy walking through one of our resident hall buildings and seeing students on a Friday night cooking food together and just having a great time. So that's a really great resource and opportunity for students who love cooking.
Well, I mean, everybody loves cooking, right?
Or wants to learn how to cook, you know?
Well, I think that's a good opportunity for community building too, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the live-in staff that help support our students toward their ultimate goal for getting a degree?
Yes, so there's a couple of different live-in staff that we have. One are our resident assistants. So these are upper-class current U of O students that are living on every floor in the residence halls, and they're really there to help support students in navigating living on campus, transitioning into their first year of college, even if there's a roommate conflict or they're not sure maybe where to go for a resource. They're right there down the hall, and a great easy access and way to have that support right in the residence halls. We also have community directors in every single one of our buildings, which is 10, and these are full-time professional staff that are there to support students, help in that community building, provide those resources, and make sure that they're having that first year as successful as it can be.
And are there faculty who live in or who support the programs within the residence halls?
Yes, faculty connection is really important. So all of our residence halls have what are called faculty fellows. And so these are faculty that are involved in the residence halls. They'll put on different workshops or events, have open office hours right there in the residence halls. And then 3 of our buildings actually have live-in faculty members. And so they live in the residence halls with their families. Also, again, being that resource for students, connecting with them, putting on different events such as Sunday pancakes in the community kitchen. And so that's something that I think is really unique to our campus and really special in a great way, again, to connect our first year students to faculty members at the U of O.
We have a question from Whitney. How does laundry work in the residence halls?
Yes, so we do have laundry facilities in all of our residence hall buildings. When students move in the fall, they'll actually get a laundry card that they can upload money onto. So no longer having to carry around bags of coins like when I was in college. And so it does have a cost for washing, but drying is free. And so I think that's great, especially in Oregon when it sometimes rains. Maybe you just need to dry off your jacket real quick. But we do have those resources available for students.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alex. That's all the time that we have. How can students find out more from you and your housing colleagues if they have more questions?
Yes, so our website is one really great resource, everywhere from 360 videos of rooms to video tours of our different residence hall buildings, connecting with us on social media. You can email, you can call. If you go to the virtual visit page where you signed up for this event, you can also schedule a one-on-one meeting with myself or another housing representative, and we'd be happy to walk you through the registration process and help you answer any of your housing questions.
Terrific. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Yep. Thanks, Cora. Bye.
In the last few years, the University of Oregon has invested more and more resources into student success. Our efforts over the last 5 years have had great outcomes. We've increased our four-year graduation rate by more than 20%, which is now more than 82% higher than the national average for public universities. And it's the best four-year graduation rate for public universities in the state of Oregon. Our biggest moves happened in the last year with the addition of 23 new advisors and the opening of Tyson Hall, the UO's home to a new kind of advising. I'm pleased to introduce Veretta Pegram-Floyd, Academic and Career Coordinator in Tyson Hall and Career Advising. We will answer your questions and submissions after she has a chance to do a short presentations, and if we can get to some of your live Q&A questions, we will do that as well. So here in the Q&A, we also have advising experts, including some from our schools and colleges. So please keep those questions coming. But I'd like to introduce you to Veretta. Welcome, Veretta.
Thank you, Cora. Welcome, new ducks and families. So my name is Veretta Pegram-Floyd, and I'm an Academic and Career Coordinator for Tyson College and Career Advising. And what we do is we serve all students. In particular, we serve major exploration students as well as College of Arts and Science discipline students. And the way that we do that is through a holistic approach that is looking at the students' cultural values, that's looking at the students' skills and interests to help students make a very good decision about the majors and or minors that are of interest to them. Additionally, if you want to click over to the next slide. Thank you. So our advising is done around flight paths. And so what the flight paths are is 6 broad thematic theme areas that help students kind of hone in and focus in on academic and major areas of interest. So helping to explore those majors, define a career path, etc. And that's not, so to be clear too, all of our majors are particularly mapped to a flight path, but the College of Arts and Sciences majors are the majors that we advise for. If you could click over to the next slide. We have a lot of collaborations in terms of support for students. And so one of those collaborations that you may have heard a little bit about already is our first year academic opportunities. And 2 of the ones that I want to speak to you about today are our FIGs, which is our first year interest groups. And there's 2 opportunities there. There is what's called kind of the more traditional FIG that is just for your fall term, that has 2 4-credit lecture classes and 1 credit college connections course. And then the more kind of newer FIG that we just started is called what's the Runway FIG. And that FIG extends throughout the full academic year, but you're still working with the same dedicated faculty and students. The other opportunity that you may have just heard about in housing is the academic residential communities. And so that's based around a major and or academic discipline where students will live on a floor together in the residence hall and take classes together. You can click over to the next slide, please. And then more information about kind of the structure of the FIG. So within the FIG, there's 20 students in each FIG cohort, and you have a dedicated faculty member as well as a peer mentor that has either in that particular major or that has also taken that class before. And so having that peer support from a student that has also going through the same process that you're undergoing. There is also, as I mentioned before, the lecture courses and the College Connections course. And what the College Connections course does is to help build the bridge between those two lecture courses, as well as community development in terms of the students in the FIG, but also understanding UO campus resources. Next slide, please. Our next collaboration, and that we partner very closely with, and is actually located in the same building, the Willie and Donald Tykeson Hall, is the University Career Center that's located on the garden level of the Willie and Donald Tykeson Hall. What Tykeson College and Career Advising does is we really work to support students around the academic and exploratory career opportunities, whereas the University Career Center comes in to help students implement those career choices. So as you are updating your resume from some career involvement, like being a resident assistant, for example, or updating your resume, doing your cover letter, and learning more about those things, setting up an informational interview, using Handshake. These are all things that the University Career Center will help you do, and we will help you make connections to the Career Center. Next slide, please. And then now I turn it back to Cora so that we can speak about any questions you all have.
Thank you for that overview of everything that Tykeson offers, Veretta. So we're gonna, like Veretta said, we're gonna pivot to some of the questions that our students submitted when they registered about academics at the UO. So one that came in, Veretta, is how easy is it to change your major, and is it possible to double major? We'll start there, and then there was a third part to that question, so I'll get to that after you get to the first two.
Okay, thanks. So the major change process in and of itself is really just a declaration form on either through Tykeson College and Career Advising or through a department. So that part is pretty easy. What kind of adds a little bit more meat to the process is what is the particular major that you're looking at, and whether or not it's called a gated major. So meaning that it has a pre-major component where students have to complete those pre-major requirements with classes and GPA, and then have to apply for full admission to the major. But other than that, as long as you are meeting the requirements, major exploration and declaring majors and switching majors is a pretty easy process.
And if students are interested in multiple subjects, is it easy to double major?
Yes. So that also depends on what you're looking at in terms of double majoring. So some majors are locked by degree type. So some majors, and I'll use just a couple off the top of my head, for example, English or cinema studies are locked by a Bachelor of Arts degree, which require 2 years of second language completion. Or, and you might also be interested in a major that maybe only requires a Bachelor of Science, or it might make sense to do a Bachelor of Science, which comes with a math or computer science proficiency. And so some of it depends on what you're looking at. It's definitely still doable, but there might be some other components that go into that. And what I'll also say is that University of Oregon is a liberal arts education institution. And so as a result of the liberal arts education, you still will have experience to be exposed to other academic disciplines through our core education curriculum.
The core education will introduce students to a broad set of subject areas. Can you speak to a little bit, just without going into too much detail, about those subject areas?
Yeah, so the subject areas, the three main subject areas within the core education curriculum, well, actually 4 main areas, excuse me, are humanities, our social sciences, and our natural sciences. And then on top of that, all students have to complete what's called a cultural literacy requirement. And so ensuring that you understand not only issues from a domestic perspective, but you also are engaged with and understand issues from an international and global context.
And how many classes does a student typically take in a term? How many credits do they have to earn to stay on track to graduate on time?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So the University of Oregon, full-time enrollment is 12 credits. However, one of the things that we advise students to complete is 16 credits to ensure that you are able to graduate in 4 years. You are still full-time, but that is the requirement. And as a starter, some students will come in with additional credits, so such as International Baccalaureate or Advanced Placement. So depending on your particular situation, you might start off with 12 credits that first term because you've come in with transfer credits, whether it's from another institution or, again, as I mentioned, Advanced Placement, International Baccalaureate, other institutional credits, etc., just to kind of get your footing. But for the most part, 16 credits is what we advise.
Awesome. So we had a question come in on the live Q&A about when do students find out who their advisor is?
Yeah, so again, with the flight pass, there isn't necessarily a specific advisor. Most, whether it's a professional school or within Tyson College and Career Advising, part of it now is you have an active team of advisors who wrap around and provide that support. And so within that, you might find an advisor that you greatly gel with, and that's completely fine. And maybe you see that particular person, but you have a team of advisors that are at your disposal for support.
Awesome. Well, and I know that students will meet with their advisor for the first time during introduction or orientation program. Yes. Can you very briefly just how often should a student be meeting with an advisor to stay on track and make sure that they're meeting all of the requirements and exploring and finding the best opportunities for them?
Yeah, so one of the things that I recommend to students is at least to check in once a year. I know that when I meet with students, I will actually draft out a year plan, but some students will come a couple times a term. Some students will come at least once a term. So it really sometimes depends on the student and where they are academically and what they're trying to do, but at least, please, at least once a year.
Okay. And another question real quick from the live chat. How do I register for a FIG?
Yeah, so I think that there might be some more information about that later on because I'm not sure the information has been pulled up yet in terms of being able to move forward. But you can do that. I believe the process may start in May. Yes. So okay. You can register for that, I believe, at the same time that you're registering for orientation.
Yeah, I will go ahead and I'll cover that in a few minutes as we move through the program. But I think there's other opportunities too for students to change a FIG or get into a FIG during introduction if they don't grab one during the registration process in May. So I will cover that. But that's all the time that we have for today, Veretta. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and joining us for this program and giving some students some insight into what the advising relationship is like and how we help students be successful at the U of O. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, Duck, it's great to have you here. What kind of things have you been up to with everything going on? Oh, looks like I see some spring cleaning. Interesting. I haven't seen that one yet. And how many years have you been here, Duck? It looks like the duck has lost count. Well, I've been here for 2 years. Oh, at least 2. Exactly. I've been here for 2, and I know that you've been here longer than I have. So tell me, so tell me, Duck, is it true that over the summer you work as a circus performer? Oh, I'm so excited, the anticipation. Oh. It looks like the duck has a hobby of juggling toilet paper, but maybe you shouldn't quit your day job. Alrighty. I just want to ask a few user-submitted questions now. So, Duck, tell us, where are your pants? Well, I think the duck will be leaving for a while, so let's move on to the next question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much school spirit do students have? So much school spirit! So much school spirit. How many push-ups can you do consecutively, Duck? Let's see. 1. Looks like the duck's been pumping some iron at the wreck. Do your feathers do a good job of protecting you from the rain? Oh, even the duck uses an umbrella on campus. What are your top 3 favorite things about UO? Football? Okay, me too. Basketball? Of course. Awesome. Well, I heard a little rumor that in Bird Talk magazine that you've never lost a best 2 out of 3 in rock, paper, scissors. Is that true? Okay, you're on. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, my paper covers your rock. Oh, scissors. You got me. All right, again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, it looks like the duck is the winner, everyone. That's all the time we have. Thanks, Duck, and back to you, Cora.
Thanks, Gemma. Thank you, Duck. It looks like maybe he cheats a little bit at rock, paper, scissors, so I'd be careful about challenging him for that. I'm going to quickly go through what comes next for you toward becoming a duck. So we'll share a few things about dates and deadlines that are coming up and some processes that are happening. As Alex mentioned, now because you're admitted, you can register for university housing. You can do that through the housing website at housing.uoregon.edu. Once you do, pay attention in May for roommate matching and in room selection in June and July, depending on whether you're in an ARC or not. You can also sign up for an academic residential community while registering for university housing. So please make sure that you're taking all of those opportunities to be a full part of the community. And one of those ways is through an academic residential community. One of the things that we do know is really important that's coming up in the next few weeks is May 1. May 1 is the National Intent to Register date. And while we have not moved that date, I do want to stress the importance of letting us know if you need more time. We at the University of Oregon are committed to being as flexible as possible to help you make sure that you can make the decision that's right for you for higher education. So when you submit your intent to register, you'll also want to submit your advanced tuition deposit. That's a $200 advanced tuition deposit that is reflected on your fall term bill as a credit. You can do that at decision.uoregon.edu to hold your place in the fall class. And just again, if you need some more time, just let us know by emailing the admissions office at uoadmit@uoregon.edu. Also coming up in May is introduction registration. Now we've made some decisions around that as well, and so introduction registration will be in mid-May this year. You'll get some more information both in your email and in your mailbox from us. And we want to make sure that you know that introduction is a mandatory advising, orientation, and registration program. And we offer plenty of opportunities to sign up and lots of options there. And again, here we're making some more decisions about how we're going to present introduction over the course of the summer. So please pay close attention to both your email and your mailbox for more information from our office. Also coming up in May is FIG registration. Now, Veretta and I talked a little bit about FIGs and what those are. In the couple of days following introduction registration opening, you will have an opportunity to register for one of those FIGs and register early for some of your classes. Typically, a FIG is about half of your fall term classes. So that gives you a chance to do that right before you come or attend introduction over the summer. Also, keep in mind that we do need to see your final high school transcript. So mark your calendar somehow, however your high school is communicating with you about their closures. We want to make sure that you connect with them to ensure that they get us your final high school transcript. Again, we know that many high school registrar's offices are closed, and so you might not be able to get that to us right away. And we will be flexible with you on that. Really, what we need that high school transcript to tell us is that you did indeed earn your diploma and that you're ready to join us at the University of Oregon. So please mark your calendars, pay close attention, and make sure that those get sent to us as soon as you possibly can. I want to make sure that you know that the virtual.uoregon.edu site is a great place to get connected with us. Check your email after this program for contact information, and websites for all of the resources that we've discussed today. Also, take advantage of all of the additional virtual resources that we've made available to you. You can log on to virtual.uoregon.edu and you can sign up for a one-on-one Zoom appointment with an admissions counselor, a housing staff member, or one of our student ambassadors, perhaps one of them that you met here today. Check out more of the campus with UO360. Use those goggles that we sent you and your smartphone, and you'll have a chance to ride on the motorcycle with the duck during a football game at Autzen Stadium. The other thing that you can do is live chat with student ambassadors within the Discord app. So if you're a Discord app user, we have students in there in a Future Ducks channel, and we hope that you have a chance to connect with several of our current students about any questions that you have related to the University of Oregon. Before we close out the student program, we have a couple of very special messages from a few wonderful folks. The first is the U of O's greatest women's basketball player of all time, and a student athlete who's earned 2 degrees at the University of Oregon. Sabrina Ionescu is here to join us, and she has a message for you, and our university president, Michael Schill, will also share a message with you. So please enjoy both Sabrina and President Michael Schill.
Hey Dex, Sabrina Ionescu here from the Oregon women's basketball team. Just wanted to talk about my experience at Oregon and how blessed and lucky I am to say that I am a Duck for life. Obviously, I was very nervous, making a decision in that transition from high school into college, and I was honestly blown away by the family atmosphere and the feel that they provide. I mean, everyone cared. Ultimately, that's, one of the reasons why I chose to attend, the University of Oregon was just because of how much I was valued as a person and not just as a basketball player. People from the university really believe in my dreams and who I am as a person and the vision that I have for myself and my future, and that's something that you can't find anywhere, and that's something that I hold really special to my heart. And so Oregon really is a very special place. I am encouraging you to take this next step and to be a Duck because it's a commitment for life, and there's absolutely no place that, I'd rather be in. So excited to see what the future holds for you guys, and go Ducks.
Hi, everyone. Sabrina is, what can I say? She's Sabrina. She epitomizes all the best of the University of Oregon. She is a great athlete, but she's also a scholar. She has 2 degrees from the University of Oregon. And while she was here, she made her mark. And she's going to be making her mark in the future. Just like you. You are going to come here, I hope, and you all are going to make your mark. And so I want to first congratulate all of you. By the way, I'm President Michael Schill of the University of Oregon. I want to congratulate all of you. I want to welcome you to the Ducks, and I want each and every one of you to come here. Let me just say a couple things about the school. I believe that the University of Oregon offers the best combination of athletics and collegiate life of any university in the country. We have great academics, great academics. We've just hired 70 new faculty members. We're creating new degrees. We have 23 new advisors. So it's not a sink or swim situation. You come here, we're going to take care of you because we're a community at the University of Oregon. Also, we are located in the most amazing place in the world. In fact, look outside. It's like being in the middle of a forest. It's so beautiful here. We're nestled in between the ocean and the Cascade Mountains. Safe, wonderful, happy community. In addition, each one of you can find your own community here at the University of Oregon, because one of the great things you're going to go to college and experience is, on the one hand, a great academic world, but also establishing a community and friends for life. So regardless of whether you're interested in athletics, or whether you're interested in Greek life, or whether you're interested in debate or music or art or theater, we have hundreds of students groups, and you will find your place at the University of Oregon. And that place will be with generations of people who care about the university and care about you. So I very much hope to see you next year, and then we can go together. This is what we tend to do here. We make the O and we yell out, "Go Ducks!" So welcome everybody to the University of Oregon.
Thanks so much, President Schill. It's special to have you here, and we appreciate your time today. We have one last message from a UO alumnus who's been a success in his own right, and we want to make sure that you have a chance to meet Peter Hollens, class of 2005. After that, we'll be wrapped up with the student portion of our program, and we will move into our parent and family program. So students, after you hear from Peter, we'd love for you to go visit virtual.uoregon.edu. And for parents and family members, we'd like you to stick around and introduce you to some very, very special people who care for your students. So please enjoy Peter Hollens.
Hey, I'm Peter Hollens. I graduated from the University of Oregon in 2005 as a voice performance major. I came from Ashland, Oregon. I was a dorky little kid who got picked on a lot. I was an introvert until I came to the University of Oregon and found my voice. That's where I was lucky enough to find multiple loves in my life. First, my lovely wife, Evan Hollens, as she was singing with the University of Oregon's Divisi, which later became the premise for the movie Pitch Perfect. And I found my love for feathered waterfowl with webbed feet, which I know you will too. And most importantly, I fell in love with a cappella music, which later meant everything to my entire life. The University of Oregon was essential to allowing me to find myself. I created my a cappella group because it was able to happen there. The University of Oregon provided the infrastructure and all of the like-minded students for me to find my passion and love for life.
It is now my honor and my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, a 2005 graduate of our very own School of Music and Dance. Peter Hollens is an American pop singer and producer, best known for his work on YouTube as an a cappella artist.
Everything you're about to hear is made by the human voice and mouth. Without the support of the University of Oregon and my professors, I wouldn't have been able to co-found the first collegiate a cappella group in the entire Northwest. The lifelong friendships I made at the University of Oregon, the mentorships with my professors, and the community I made there propelled me to where I am today. I was even lucky enough to represent the University of Oregon with my a cappella group on NBC's The Sing Off, which kickstarted my career. I believe that in most cases, nurturing a collaborative environment will create more opportunities for us all, rather than pitting us against each other in a competitive one. I now get to make a living doing what I love in Eugene, Oregon, with an amazing team. I built a business to help entrepreneurs make a living online. You now have the foundation needed to build your career. And at this point, it's only up to you to execute. I run a digital media company. We make over 50 music videos a year. I have over 5 million followers on Facebook and YouTube, over 1 billion views. Humble brag. Anything is possible at the University of Oregon. I have been able to collaborate with Jason Mraz, with Gladys Knight, with the Lion King musical. I mean, I don't even know what my life is, and it all started at UO. Many musicians consider other artists their competitors and rivals, but that never made much sense to me. I think of other artists as my peers, and I want them to succeed as much as I want to succeed myself. I want to lift them up in the process and raise the entire ecosystem. The university gave me the chance to start a new life, different from my small town existence, sharing my love for singing week after week. Make your decisions in life based on love instead of fear. So take a leap, create your own path, and maybe you'll be as fortunate as I have been to find a home. And remember, no matter where you go, once a duck, always a duck. Also, our sports teams are really good. Even if you don't think you like sports, you come to the University of Oregon, you're gonna love sports. I mean, the UO women's basketball team beat the USA Olympic team in 2020 this year. Oh, come on. Join the flock, come here. You'll be in my city. Let's do this.
I am so grateful to both Sabrina and Peter for providing us a message for you all. They're just such wonderful examples of the amazing things that you can do when you attend the University of Oregon. One of the other many wonderful parts of the University of Oregon is the focus on our community and the belief that the U of O community includes students and their family members, their parents, their siblings, whoever has raised them and supports them and their academic success. I'm joined today by Tiffany Fritz, Director of Parent and Family Programs at the University of Oregon. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Cora.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Tiffany, can you spend just a couple of minutes talking about what you do and the resources that you provide to parents and family members of ducks?
I can. So again, Tiffany Fritz, Director of Parent and Family Programs. I've been at the University of Oregon for about 2.5 years. And prior to coming to the UO, I worked as an academic advisor and a first-year experience coordinator. And so what I noticed is I was working a lot with families around the transition to college. So I was really excited when this opportunity opened up within Parent and Family Programs. And what we do is really work to support parents and family members as they support their ducks. And when I say family members, I mean that very broadly. Siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, whatever the case may be. And we do this in a few different ways. So our office provides as needed support. And this could be through calling our office, stopping by our office if families are on campus, or emailing us at myduckis@uoregon.edu. We provide resources so families can stay up to date with information. So this includes our newsletters, it includes our Facebook page, our website. So we really want to make sure sure that parents and family members have access to information that they can use to really support their students. We also really love when they come back to visit. So we plan events like our Fall Family Weekend, our Spring Family Weekend. And so this really gives students an opportunity to showcase campus to their families. And then we provide volunteer opportunities. And so we have, I think at last count, over 80 parent volunteers around the country. I know. And so they work to create a duck community within their home area. So they put on things like athletic watch parties and care package making parties and really try to bring the duck experience into their home areas, because we realize not everyone can make it to Eugene. Yeah. If families are interested to see if there's a volunteer in their area, they can visit families.uoregon.edu/volunteers, and they're all listed out by state.
Well, and you have a guide on the families page too, right? A parent guide?
We do. We have a parent guide with articles that really touch on transitional concerns and issues and all of the successes and challenges that can come with the first year. And so it's a great document. It also, the first bit of it includes contact information for offices on campus. So if families had direct questions, our contact information. Yeah.
Fantastic. We have some other campus professionals here with us today, because I think it can be really easy for the university to focus solely on our students and forget that parents and family members are sending their precious loved ones, whether it's 10 miles or 100 miles or 10,000 miles. They're sending someone who's very important to them, to us to care for. And it's really important for us to acknowledge that that responsibility is not one that we take lightly. So I wanted to spend some time introducing our family members to a few of the people who work day in and day out to help students achieve success and earn that degree while they're here at the University of Oregon. So I'm going to introduce you to a number of professional staff. You'll see me go off the screen. Tiffany will stay with the panel, and we'll have a chance to introduce them to you and ask a few questions for our panelists. So please welcome Mat Carmichael, who is the Chief of Police here at the University of Oregon, Marcus Langford, the Associate Dean of Students here at the U of O, and Deborah Beck, who is the Executive Director of the University Health Center. So welcome to you all.
Hey, Cora.
Afternoon. I'm going to actually ask all of you to spend just a couple of minutes talking with folks about what you do, what you and your teams do to support our students and their success. Chief Carmichael, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Happy Friday, Cora. On behalf of the University of Oregon Police Department, thank you for including us today. You know, the UOPD is a 24/7 campus police operation with our sole focus of serving our UO students. Matter of fact, we're the only university in the state of Oregon that has an accredited police department. Our primary goal is to serve at the same level of excellence as our university does for our students. Our police department offers a variety of services for our students, whether it's self-defense classes, our cadet program, we have internships. Matter of fact, we employ about 130 students every year to support our Safe Ride services. Those programs are solely for making sure our students get around campus and off campus safely. And what's really nice about this program is it's students serving students. So our students know that when they get in a Safe Ride shuttle or a campus shuttle Safe Ride van, they're only with other UO students. As a matter of fact, their driver and their support team is other UO students. Our program gave just about 40,000 rides last year. So it's one of our services that we make sure our students have access to. As you know, Cora, not only do I serve as the duck chief, but I am also a duck parent. I truly know what it's like to be a distant parent of college students. And I can tell you, being the chief here and being a duck dad with two duck students, it has been an overwhelmingly positive experience, not only for our students, but for our families in general. So I guess my primary point for UO and for prospective parents and students is we are here to serve our students. We're going to be here with you the first day. We're going to make sure that your student has a safe and successful experience here at the UO, and I'll be right there with you at graduation, cheering your family on.
Thanks, Chief. Marcus, would you like to talk a little bit about what you and your team do to help support students?
Sure. First of all, good afternoon to you and everyone else. And so again, Marcus Langford, I'm an Associate Dean with the Office of the Dean of Students. And really, I like to tell folks that we really would like you and your students to consider the Dean of Students office as either a touch point, or a home base. And so oftentimes we say if students have questions, concerns, or things that they just aren't quite sure about, use us as a resource. And the primary way in which we serve students, I would say, are through three ways, and that's education, engagement, and support. So we have a number of folks in our office who provide a wide variety of educational information initiatives and programs to students. Those include things like prevention services, issues around Title IX and safety on campus. We also have a number of folks in our office who provide engagement opportunities. And so these include things like the Holden Center for Leadership and Community Engagement, Fraternity and Sorority Life, and again, other opportunities for students to get involved and engaged on campus. And then the last thing that I would say that we do is around support. And so we offer crisis intervention and support to students all day, every day. And this is really one of the primary reasons for which we are known across campus. And so every day from 1 until about 4:30, we have someone available in our office for drop-in. And oftentimes students will come to see us if they're dealing with a range of issues. It can be something like, I went skiing this past weekend, broke my leg, and I need to help figure out how to get around campus, all the way to, unfortunately, I lost my grandfather. I need to go home for a funeral, and I need some help figuring out how to communicate and articulate that to faculty members. And so we have staff who are available to assist students in a wide variety of issues. And so, again, I would just encourage you to know and understand that we as the Dean of Students are a really good place for your students to kind of consider as a home base and a touchstone through their time here at the university.
Thank you, Marcus. Deb, can you talk a little bit about your operation and the staff that you have who support our students?
Sure. Thank you, Cora. Happy Friday. I'm Deb Beck. I'm the Executive Director of the University Health Center. We are a nationally accredited health center in the middle of campus. We have board certified providers here to assist your students, and we are truly experts in college health. Many of us have done this the majority of our career. We are also parents of students, so we understand the change that this brings to you and to your student, and we're here to help you through that. We have primary and multi-specialty services. We have primary care, we have endocrinology, we have preventative services, we have sports medicine services, we have an on-site lab, radiology, and pharmacy. And we also have our psychiatry department, which medically manages mental health care concerns. We provide crisis management as well as some other support for mental health services. We are basically open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We are opening a brand new acute care center in the fall, which we're excited about. We're going to have some later hours to provide on-site walk-in services for our students that may not have routine hours in their life and need help a little bit later in the evening. And then we also have Saturday hours from 9 to 1. So we're really available every day of the week except for Sundays here. And when we are not here, we do have a nurse provider line that's available 24/7. So if a person would like to talk to a nurse about any signs or symptoms and see if they need an appointment or if they can wait until the next day we're open, or they need to go to an emergency room and urgent care, we have a set of nurses there to help with that. This is a great service, and it's well received, it's well utilized. We have a physical therapy and sports medicine department. We offer massage therapy, We offer acupuncture, and we have a large dental service on campus. So we really are here to provide comprehensive services for the students and help them succeed while they're here at the University of Oregon, and help them stay healthy and well.
Certainly, we know that wellness is an important and essential factor to student success. I think there's a few others that we have in ways that parents and family members can support their students. And I hope that families who are watching right now will engage with us with questions in the live Q&A. But I've got a couple prepped questions that I want to ask you. And so I'll call on one or two of you for each of these. As we have time, we'll also include the questions from the live Q&A. So Tiffany, I'm going to start with you. What conversations should parents be having with their students before they head off to college, before that they get those residence hall keys and give them that hug, that last hug before Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Oh no, the last hug. So I think I always recommend two primary conversations for families to have with their students prior to move in. And the first is around communication. And this is how often and through what means. And I don't have necessarily a recommendation. Every family is different, but I do think it's important to really establish guidelines of how often do you want to hear from your student, and in what way? Is a text message once a week sufficient, or do you want a couple phone calls to check in? And in regards to communication, I think it's also important to really say what you want to know. So if you want updates around how courses are going, let them know, when we talk, I really want to know how your classes are going. Or if you're very interested in the social aspect, in addition to classes, I want to hear and understand how you're making friends. And so I think a conversation around conversing is actually really important for families with new students to have. Which brings me to my second conversation that I really encourage, and that's around expectations. And so I think a lot of times students come into college, and so do their families, with these expectations of what this experience will look like. And sometimes expectations are met and sometimes they aren't. I often share personal experience. It took me a long time to make friends, and I wasn't prepared for that. And I don't think my family was either. And so if we had had a conversation around, you really need to put yourself out there, and it's okay if it doesn't happen right away, it will happen for you. I think that would have been beneficial to hear. So I always recommend conversations around communication and what does that look like, and also managing expectations around the college experience, especially in that first term.
So Marcus, I'm going to ask you a different question. How can parents be involved appropriately during their students' college career?
Right. So I definitely think appropriate engagement is important. There are a host of studies that show that students who have engaged parent and family members often do better. They have higher grades, they graduate sooner, they're retained at a higher rate. And so engagement and staying connected is great, but I would say in an appropriate way. So what does appropriate engagement look like? For me, I would say it still finding a way to support your student, but also shifting to put them in the driver's seat, or to center them in the doing. And so in terms of what that looks like, oftentimes I know students will have, issues with or questions about, papers or assignments or majors or what classes do I take. And I know sometimes in an effort to be helpful, parents or family members will be the ones to make those phone calls, to campus offices and things like that. And so I think being involved in an engaged way is having a conversation with your student, your son, your daughter, helping them kind of understand the questions that they need to ask or the things that they need to figure out, and then encouraging them to be the one to make the phone call or to send the email or to ask the question. And so again, I think it's great to help them think about and problem solve whatever issues they are dealing with or facing. But again, ensuring that they are centered in the actual doing of the problem, solving the problem, I think is the best way for parent and family members to be involved and engaged, but in an appropriate way.
That's awesome advice. Deb, from a medical practice perspective, is there something that you would add to Marcus's answer about appropriate involvement for parents and family members?
Yeah, I think it's very important for you to have a discussion with your student ahead of time about how involved they want you to be in their medical and health care. I would say that as medical providers, it's really important to us to make sure that parents are aware if their student is struggling in any way. However, these students are generally 18 years and older, so it is up to them how involved you are in their care. I can tell you that as healthcare providers, we are encouraging students to call their parents if we think their parents should be involved. I also think it's worth a discussion to make sure that you might not be overly involved, because you want to make sure that your student feels comfortable seeking the care that they need, particularly if they feel like they might be judged by it or might have to do some explaining. We'd rather have them come in and get care, and we can walk them through if we feel a parent needs to be involved, and that way they can take good care of their health and mental health care. So a nice discussion to have ahead of time, encouraging them to own their medical and health care procedures, help them through maybe their immunization and health history requirements that are online at the UHC portal that they need to that they're required to fill out. That's a good first step as an entryway into discussions about their health care and how they can manage that on their own, and just letting them know that you are there for them if you're needed, but you're also going to respect that they're an adult and can make some decisions too.
Chief, I want to throw back to the original question that I asked Tiffany, because I think from a police chief's perspective, you might have thoughts on what other kinds of conversations parents and family members might want to have with their students before move-in day.
Oh, definitely. Before moving day, I think one of the best conversations I had with my students was the conversation about safety. You know, as parents, we work diligently to keep our kids safe, our students safe. When you get older, you can say kids, but we work hard to keep our students safe. And the conversation, what's really important for a parent to have, is to talk about their student safety when they're away at college, and that should range from everything about keeping the doors locked and walking with a friend and utilizing the safe ride services and know your surroundings. Everything we've done as parents up until the point till we get our student to move-in day has been successful. So follow that same path, but have those very open, frank discussions about college and what things that we can do to be safe. And as I tell parents, UOPD is a real resource for not only our students but our DUC parents. Our parents of our students have access to us 24/7. I like to think of it like this, especially for distance parents. I'm here for you, and so I've got your back while your student is here at our school. So having those really open conversations about safety and talking about the things that you've already done throughout your student's life to keep your students safe, that's number one.
Well, that is a great note to end on. That's all the time we have. I do want to make sure that parents and family members know that throughout our orientation and transition process, each of these folks is deeply, deeply involved in the transition of not only your students, but also parents and family members to being supporters of DUCs at the University of Oregon. So you'll have a chance to meet them again and ask them all of your questions. And in the meantime, visit families.uoregon.edu to seek out some of those resources that Tiffany talked about earlier. So thank you so much to Tiffany, Chief Carmichael, Deb, and to Marcus. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cora.
Thank you.
That about does it for us today. We're so glad that you joined us. We hope we had a chance to at least answer most of your questions that you had about the University of Oregon. As I mentioned, we will reach back out one-on-one to those questions that came in from our live Q&A and that registration web form so that we can get back to you and make sure that we establish that connection. So thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your day, and certainly we hope that you celebrate your students' achievements because we are awfully darn proud of them. So thanks so much, and go Ducks.